Hey fam, it's Grace, and we're talking about the quote, live and let live today. Um, I have realized that I've been able to learn and grow through triggers. And so basically that's what I'm going to try to do today is to convey what I learned through a trigger and hopefully that it'll help a person if anyone sees this. We're trusting the process. Okay. So basically, it's always really bothered me when people are not considerate. Like, I think just being someone who considers myself and identifies as a considerate person and someone who's, looking out for other people. Like, if the water gets empty, you fill it up. You don't leave your dishes in the sink too long, just little things, right? If someone lets me over in traffic, I tell them thank you. Definitely was more common for other people to say thank you back, or that in North Carolina, in the South. Here in California, people don't do that as much. The highways are just so chaotic that it's like no one has time to do that anyways. Like, people are focused doing other things. I was running on the boardwalk, and a lot of times if people aren't facing you, they'll be blocking the whole entire boardwalk, so you kind of have to be like, excuse me, like, I'm behind you, like, move please. Which is fine, like, they're not looking, whatever, that is fine. Because obviously, they're not looking, they're caught up in their family time, and like, that's a beautiful thing, and so I can get over that. But it's like, then there was like this person walking their dogs, and they were entering the boardwalk, and they just completely like cut me off, right? And I'm like, okay, that's annoying. Like, they were expecting me to stop. Like, that pissed me off, and I was like, whatever, it's fine. And then kept running, and then like, this family, like, with kids and like a dad and a mom, like, they bike and they're exiting the boardwalk, so they cut me off. The mom, though, she waited, and I said, slay queen. And I like looked at her, and I like smiled, like, it's whatever, like, kids biking, like, I can get over that, right? I'm sounding like a pissy old woman, but it's whatever. But then, like, the mom, she let me go, and I was like, thank you, like, verbally, like, thank you, wave, eye contact, thank you. And she just like looked at me and like looked away, like, and I was like, shit, like, did I do something? Like, what? And so that pissed me off. Okay, that pissed me off. But then, I had to be like, whoa, that little interaction. And of course, it was an accumulation of small things, but like, every single one of those interactions, I allowed to like take my peace and take my joy and take anything from my experience that I was having. I was running along the beach. Like, that's a beautiful thing. Like, why in the world would I let something so small steal any ounce of my peace or my happiness, even if it's like just a tiny amount? For 1 millisecond, why would I ever allow that to happen? Because that's ridiculous. That's giving your power away. That's giving your happiness away, giving your peace away to something that just doesn't even matter. So I had to be like, okay, girl, like, let's get it together, because I'm getting too triggered too easily. And I think ever since like I was little, like, I have been a fiery, reactive child, and I've always been working to have tame my emotions in a way. And I have come such a long way. So now it's just like the internal state, right? Like, it's just a matter of like, I want to keep my peace and my happiness no matter what. And so yeah, I was like, all right, let's navigate this one. Okay. So I said, okay, first things first, snap into reality. Who do I think I am? Do I actually smile at every single person that I pass by? There have been so many times where someone smiles at me and I'm like kind of nervous, or like I'm not, in the mood to make eye contact and smile at them. There are so many times when that happens. So who am I to think that like I do that all the time and I expect other people to do that to me? Like, that's crazy. Like, just because I said thank you and smiled at someone, they might have been nervous in that situation. I don't know what's going on in their head. Maybe something crazy is going on in their life. Maybe they're arguing with a child or her husband. Like, I don't know what's going on in her life. Like, she could be just like mentally somewhere else, right? Like, that is so egotistical and selfish of me to think that she owes me attention and she owes me a smile. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. I think I'm just like realizing that I'm so egotistical. Human nature is a thing, and there's no shame about like these triggers. There's no shame about any triggers. There's no shame about like navigating the triggers. In fact, it's a very great thing to navigate your triggers because that just makes for a more peaceful, happy life. Maybe they actually are kind of an asshole in different situations. You know, like maybe people are just assholes, and like human nature is a thing and they have the right to be an asshole. Okay. If that's the way that they choose to live their life, that has nothing to do with me. And I need to let go of that attachment to them and like that element of wanting control just because I think that it's not right to be an asshole. Just because I think that it's right to smile at people and be considerate of people, that doesn't mean that it is right. That's just what I think is right. And that doesn't mean that someone else's experience and the way that they choose to live their life is any less valid or any less correct, because that's what works for them right now. And you have to accept and create space for people to come up short or people to be acting on their human nature, whether that's greed or laziness or whatever the other, pride, envy, wrath. It's giving religion, it's giving whatever, but that's not what this is. This is strictly like human nature, things that humans do naturally, and like we have to accept and create space for other people to act in that way, or else it's going to affect you. And like it's already not fun enough when other people are doing that, especially if it's geared towards you or you catch some of that drift or you're in the same vicinity of it. Because like we're out here trying to control that shit ourselves, like for ourselves. So when other people are doing it too, obviously it's triggering, right? But it's part of life right now. Like it's how it goes. And we have to just accept that other people might do that, because when you're out in the wild, like you don't really have much control of your environment or like who you come across or how they act towards you. You don't have control over that. So it is really important to create some sort of space, prep yourself, warn yourself, accept it. Okay. And I'm going to move along. So let's think about what you can do, right? Of course, we can create space. We can accept that that's just a part of life. And that kind of helps us detach from other people's actions a little bit. What else we can do is kind of be like, well, why is this triggering me? Ask yourself, like, why is this triggering me? Like, what is this interaction showing me? I was thinking about my experience on the boardwalk and like getting cut off a bunch of times, still trying to like make sure I smile at people and I'm kind. And like, I say thank you when someone lets me continue on before they cut me off. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I literally got cut off, was like a little bit triggered about it, contained myself again. And then the next time someone didn't do that, I smiled at them and I was like, thank you. And then they triggered me again. I was like, okay, what is this showing me? Like, what am I meant to be getting from that? I have a trigger of feeling like I'm not being considered, feeling like I'm not being seen or like really considered. And I was like, okay, like valid, because there's been instances where I don't feel considered, and yeah, that's hurtful. You want to think that like you consider everyone all the time, and like so, which is obviously not the case. So when I'm feeling like that's not returned, it's hurtful and it triggers me, and it quite frankly it pisses me off. So it's like, okay, what can I do to combat this? All right, so first thing, what we were just talking about is like I'm gonna accept that it's human nature to not be happy, smiley all the time, right? Like not everyone is like you. Everyone is different and unique. Like if we all had the same interests and did the same things every day, that would be boring. So I do appreciate the diversity in the world so much. And like, yeah, that comes with some sort of diversity that you don't like. Pause. I'm talking about people being assholes. Bottom line is that's someone who's different than me, and I love when people are different than me, okay? So we see that for what it is. Another thing that I took from that experience was, okay, so clearly I have a trigger that comes up and I get defensive when I feel that I'm not being considered. I don't want to be defensive. That's draining and that's just not fun. I want to be happy and floaty around the world and like I want to feel good. Oh, how can I use this trigger to grow as a human being and grow from this and use it in my everyday life? And so I said, okay, well, usually when I feel like I'm not being considered, I stay silent or I let it be for as long as I can until I blow up. Clearly that's not healthy, and that is very scary for other people a lot of the time. So I said, okay, this is an opportunity to work on my communication skills. It's almost like you're giving that trigger light, like you're seeing it. You see the trigger now, and so now it's able to work with you. And seeing that trigger, I can utilize it to communicate with the people that are in my life and the people that I love, and let them know, like, hey, like, this thing that you did, it made me feel a little bit inconsidered, and like I was just curious if we could instead X, Y, and Z. You could be like, hey, I noticed that this happened, and I was really wondering if you could like ask me next time you do X, Y, and Z, because I think that would just make me feel really considered. So once you work on your communication, then you get to really observe whether or not people care enough to acknowledge, accept, and act on your boundaries that you've set. Once you have become aware of your triggers and you have used them to communicate effectively, you get to then step back and watch and see if people are accepting of your boundaries or if they choose to ignore the conversations that you had and cross your boundaries. Because in that case, then you get out of those environments, you get out of those situations, you cut off those people, you cut off those friends, those family members, like literally whoever, whatever it is, that job, you leave that job. Once you communicate your triggers and you get to observe how other people act, okay? And then you get to choose what you want to do about it, where you want to take your energy. Because you contained yourself, you got a hold of yourself, you communicated everything you could as clearly as you could. You have no qualms with anything going on. So if people are still being inconsiderate of you, you get out of there. You let them know kindly, hey, I feel like we talked about this, and like, it's just interesting to me that like these boundaries are still being crossed, and like, it's really hurtful to me. So like, I have to choose myself and like not talk to you anymore. Period. I've done it a million times. Nothing tragic has come from it. So highly recommend. Because as long as you are gathering your own thoughts and, percolating on those thoughts and then expressing them in a way that you feel good about, no one can tell you shit if you feel good about what you're saying, okay? If you're supporting yourself and you feel good about it, I mean, hey, don't be delusional, be consciously delusional. Don't be delusional though. Make sure you're, fact checking yourself. Talk to some people who will give you honest feedback. Sit with it yourself. You don't need anyone. Sit with it yourself. All right? Use your resources if you got them. But if you feel good about the things that you are doing and saying, baby girl, you're on the right track. All right? You're getting to your people. You're getting to your dream job, your passions. Things are working out for you. Be your own number one supporter and you'll be just fine. It's kind of like the rain when you least expect it. Like the rain is going to happen. The rain is going to come. What are you going to do about it? I mean, yeah, you could dance in the rain. You could sing in the rain, dance in the puddles. You could see, oh, well, at least because on this run that I was triggered by, it started raining. That was like the first trigger of it all. It started raining on my run. I was like, what? It's not supposed to rain here in San Diego. It started raining on my run. I was like, okay. I was like, well, I mean, the rain, like, we need the rain. It's a good thing that it's raining, obviously. It's like, you could focus on the beautiful things that the rain brings, right? You could just enjoy yourself and dance in the rain. You could go hide out under a tree until it stops. Or you could just be pissed off and pouty and like a whiny little baby about it and bring everyone else down with you. And then no one's even admiring, like, dude, we literally need the rain to grow flowers, to grow food, to feed the animals that we have and eat. You know, like, you need the rain, obviously. But you see, it's all about perspective, okay, with how you treat what's going on around you. You could, if it's raining, if you're not on a run and stranded, you could go inside and wait till it stops, right? You could enjoy the coziness of your bed when it's raining. There's so many things that you can do. There are infinity amounts of perspectives that you could take when something like not ideal happens, and you're in control of the perspective that you write out. People have faults, just like storms happen, and it's not something you can control. And it's something that is actually beautiful and diverse and makes life exciting in a way. And yeah, shit's painful. And like, yeah, if you're, things are tragic, like weather can be really tragic. People's actions can be really, really tragic. But it's like, those are uncontrollables. Those are things that you can't control. And so all you really can control is yourself and your perspective about those situations. So what are you going to focus on? What are you going to choose to focus on, really? Are you going to focus on what you can't control and how shitty those things might be? Or are you going to focus on what you can control and focus on how you can maintain your happiness and like your peace? It's all up to you, my guy. I just hope that we learn to worry about ourselves and we detach from other people's actions, because all you can do is control yourself and control how you act in the world. And that will make such a beautiful impact. It will make a huge impact for you. Okay. Swear. Okay, bye.